What's up, guys, and welcome to the channel. My name is Sean and I'm just an ordinary car guy. Today we're going to be replacing the U-joints on my 2005 Dodge Ram 1500. The U-joint that's at the back of the drive shaft has been squeaking a while. It's really getting annoying, so it's time to let it go. So getting started, we're going to go over the supplies that we need for this job. This is everything you'll need, some simple tools. Starting off, this is a rear-wheel drive vehicle, so we need to chalk the wheels because once we remove the drive shaft, those rear wheels will be loose, so the truck will be able to roll. So we're going to use those. We're actually going to use those on the front wheels. We're going to use a jack and jack stands to pick up the rear wheels, make it a little bit easier to get to the drive shaft. Also, it's a little bit windy out. Sorry if there's a lot of wind noise. We'll just have to work through it. Then we'll have some medium strength removable thread locker for the bolts, the two U-joints, one for the back of the drive shaft, one for the front. Now we'll use a socket and hammer to remove the U-joints. We'll do this the old-fashioned way. Check with your local parts store. They may have a puller tool there that they'll be able to rent to you. I checked with mine, they didn't have any available, so we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Lastly, we'll need some channel locks, needle nose pliers, and then some ratchet, torque wrench, socket to remove the bolts. And then these are U-joints that need greased after installation, so we have a grease gun to do that. So now let's go over some safety. We have chocks under both of our front wheels so that the truck will not move. We also have the rear up on jack stands with the jack still under it. We did have to change jacks. The other one couldn't get the truck off the ground. So we have the truck on jack stands and should be stable and ready to go. So now on the back, I'm going to take a marker and mark from the flange here across to the back plate so we can line this up. And then again right here. So now you can see that we have a good mark, so when we put this back on, we can make sure everything's lined back up. And we want to do that because if you look up here on the drive shaft, right here, these are weights. So the drive shaft is balanced from the factory. So we want to be sure everything goes back to factory quality so we don't have any unnecessary vibrations after we put this back in. Now that we're ready, we're just going to break these bolts loose. It takes a little bit of gusto, but once you get them loose, once you get them first broken, they come out easy. So I'll catch you back when I have all four of these done, and then we can break this loose from here and we'll pull it out of the front. Alright guys, so now that we have all four bolts out right here, drive shaft is still up there. One thing you could do is if it's stuck, you can use a hammer and just hit the edges of it. On this though, you can see this notch right here. We'll just take a pry bar, push the end in there, and twist it to push the drive shaft back into the transfer case. That loosens it. Now we can just let it down easy. Now what we'll do with this is we'll take this and pull it towards the rear of the truck to pull it out of the transfer case and then pull it out. Alright, now that we have the drive shaft loose, it just slides into the transfer case, so we'll just pick it up and slide it towards the rear of the truck. And now it's loose. Alright, so now that we have the drive shaft out, the next thing to do is to take out the snap rings. All you'll need is a pair of needle nose pliers and a screwdriver. So what we'll do, squeeze these two together and take the screwdriver behind it, pop it out, just like that. So we'll do that on everyone, and then we'll be able to start knocking the U-joints out. So now that we have all four of these clips out, this is when, if you had the press tool, this is when you'd use it, but we just have a socket and a hammer. So for this, the socket would just fit right in here, is right inside on the U-joint. Hit it with the hammer first, just to help out. These are really old and stuck in, so we're just going to use some WD-40 or penetrating oil, spray it on there, just to kind of help get it loose, help us out in the long run. Now we take our socket and hammer and give it quite a whack. Alright, so this took quite a lot of hitting to get to, but you want to get to where you have the side of the U-joint that you're hitting down, as you can see, separated, and then this back cap out. So then you can take your channel locks, grab this, and pull this cap out. So now that we have this cap out, should be able to move this and slide it right out. Then now we'll just work on these sides. Another quick tip here, as we're doing this the old-fashioned way and we don't have the press, so we're making our own press using a bench vise and then a small socket. So we'll just crank this down to tighten it, pushing this against the U-joint, and there is, as you saw before where the ring sits, there's a little gap, so we'll be able to get this started and loosen it up for when we have to go hammer it. Alright guys, update on what we're doing. We don't have a press, but we're trying to make it easy on ourselves. So what we did, we took the shallow socket, which will fit the end cap of the U-joint inside of it. So we set this up around the U-joint over the flange, along with our shallow socket on this side, which goes inside on the U-joint itself, and tighten the vise until it's really snug. Then we'll take the hammer, tap the edge of it, and as you can see, just doing that, it loosened it even more. So then we'll just reset it, tighten the vise down even more, tap, tap, tap with the hammer, and just repeat until you have it loose. So just an update on that, something that we thought about and figured out as we're working here, and that's much easier on you and everything than trying to slay it with a hammer. So if you have the tools to do that, give it a go. It worked great for us. And so we'll do that once we get going on the other side of the drive shaft. It'll make it a lot easier. So here is the U-joint we just took out. Really, as you can see, this one was really busted. This broke off when we were first beating it, so it was really brittle. So it wasn't far from causing major issues, so I'm glad we got this done now. But just take a quick look at this. That one, you can see grease on it. That one, there's grease on it. That one right there is bone dry. So this is the one that broke off. So that wasn't far from having major issues. So glad we got this done now and got that taken care of. So now we're going to flip the drive shaft around, and I'll show you again on this how we set up and how we do using the bench vise, our own homemade press. Alright, so now what we've done is we have the new U-joint set up in here. So what you do, you just pull off these end caps and slide them in the end, and then you just tilt and slide the U-joint in. So now we just have it straight up in the press, or in the bench vise, and we're just going to press them in. So now we'll just slowly turn it, make sure it goes in straight. Make sure nothing's binding up as we're pressing it in. Alright, one more little bit, and you can see this side. That side is now flush. And I'll do it. So now that we have the U-joint in flush, and it's still loose. So now you can't put it in anymore with just the vise. So now we go to the smaller socket that fits right inside of it. And then we're going to basically do the same process we did pushing it out, but now we're pushing it in until we can fit the snap ring in. Just a little bit more, and we'll be ready to go. And that did it there. So now we'll move on, be able to put the snap ring in. All right, now that we got it ready for the snap ring, we'll do the same thing that we did taking it out. Take the needle nose, compress it, then we'll just slide it in this groove. Just like that. Now we're ready. We'll do that on the other side, and then repeat the process of putting this back on the other sides and put the snap rings in. So we'll catch it, we'll do that, and then we'll do the exact same thing on the front of the drive shaft to put that U-joint in, and I'll catch you back when we're about to put this back on the truck. Alright, so as you can see here, we got this one done, working great. Also got this back one finished, and you can see here, while we were working on this back one, we had one of these weights fall off. So I had to weld it back on, so I ground down a little bit, welded that weight back on, and then just gave it a little bit of paint just to keep it from rusting, just to get rid of that raw metal. So as you can see outside, it's pitch black dark. So, and unfortunately the power has been off for about 4 hours. So it's been a struggle trying to get this done, holding a flashlight and working and trying to get it get a shot recorded and everything, but we've gotten this far. I'll catch you guys tomorrow and we'll put her in. And here we are, back out here the next day. Got my coffee in hand, power's back on, and we're ready to put this drive shaft in. So everything's complete, just ready to throw her back in. So here we go. All right, now we got it down here, we're just gonna get this spline, the yoke started in here, get them lined up, slide it in a little bit, and then we'll move to the back. Just pick it up, push it in, get this back lined up. And push it on to where we need to be. Alright, and then once we do that, got to put in the bolts. Alright, now that we have the drive shaft just sitting in there, we're going to take our bolts with our removable thread locker, whether it's Loctite or any other brand, and just put some on our bolts to keep them from vibrating out. Now we'll go hand tighten those and then tighten them down with the wrench. Alright, now that we have the bolts tightened down, we're going to torque them down to 80 foot-pounds. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Got the drive shaft back in, bolts torqued down, went on a little test drive. No squeaking, no vibrations, we're good to go. So that's it. You know, I'm just an ordinary guy doing this. I don't have any car experience really, just starting out. So if I can do it, you can too. And you know, I like showing the process of learning how to do this. It's the first time I've ever changed U-joints on a car. So, you know, I'm learning as we go. Hopefully you can learn too from this. So get out and do it. You know, it's a few simple parts, really cheap to do, fun to do on your own, really satisfying when you get it done. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned from this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you.